Okay, while I'm waiting for my phone to do something for me, let me make this recording of a memory I have when I was working for professional theater in D.C. I'm talking about premier professional theater, like what you might call the best, I'd say the best place for drama in Washington, D.C. I'm not going to say the name. Now, I was on the stage crew, and I got that job while I was going every day to this handicapped job agency. I won't say the name, but this handicapped job agency, I just got married. I was unemployed when I got married. See how I'm going from one tangent to another? Well, so I needed a job, right? So no one would hire me, and no one even rent me a place to live. But I finally found a place to live, and my wife hated, and I was going to this job agency every day, and they took any kind of handicap. It didn't matter what it was. And so, as I said many times, when I was looking for work every day, going through these notebooks and everything, and whatever they had, the person usually in that room with me was a young woman with no arms. She had just little stubs right here and here. So she wanted to eat an apple or anything, she ate that with her feet. So I was in there, and I was looking for a job for 2 years, okay, every day. And during that time, one day I said, look, let me just see if I can write a letter to this famous stage I used to sometimes go to with my parents to see plays. And they were very impressive plays that have made a lifelong impression on me, lasting memories of these plays. One of them was Marasad. And now I'm kind of like him. I know I'm on a tangent, but I do need to say this. Look at me. I'm laying here like Marasad bitching. And, I don't know exactly what Marasad was writing about, but I think the word sadism comes from him. So was he writing like sadistic sexual stuff of some kind way back at the time of the French Revolution? Well, anyway, I know I'm going on one tangent to another, but what happens to him? This beautiful woman, she comes into the insane asylum where he is and murders him with a knife. Now, did that actually happen? I think it did, and the play is based on that. It was extremely bizarre play, really super dramatic. And well, I was 14 years old, and the parents brought me in lifelong memories of that play. Now, so I don't forget what I was talking about. I was looking for a job in a handicap agency where I didn't believe I was handicapped, but I had to say, okay, you're saying that I'm this, I'm going to have to accept it. And so here I am now laying down like Marasad bitching. I guess some beautiful woman's going to come and murder me. Okay, this is great. This is what I need next. So, um, uh, I wrote a letter to this stage saying, in high school, I was in plays and I played that part, and I did real well and all. And unbelievably, I got an answer to that letter. Okay, I didn't expect to, and I got an answer back saying, come in for an interview. I couldn't believe it, so I went into this very fancy professional theater, and I had an interview, and I got hired to be in the play by Thornton Wilder, Matchmaker. And there were only 2 members of the stage crew, and we were in the play as well. That's why they hired me, because I had acting experience, and I was perfect for them. So there were bit things I did in the play, and I've discussed those in other recordings. Now, it was very interesting experience, very fun and all that. And so I got hired that way, and I want to talk about this gigantic mistake I made after the matchmaker. The next play was Candide, and now I was in the stage crew still, but now the stage crew was expanded to include like 20 people for Candide. Lots and lots of members hired to be in the stage crew for Candide. And, well, one of the things I did was to open the curtain, and the theater there was in the round. So there were various entrances onto the stage, okay? From aisles leading onto the stage and from seats in the audience, right? Where they had like trap doors and actors would come up through the audience area and onto the aisles onto the stage from there. And so in this particular part of the play, I had various things to do. I was to open the curtain for this. It was like a gondola type thing. It wasn't a boat, but it was like maybe it was a boat. I don't remember what it was now, but I think it might have been a boat, and it had like a mast that went up like 10, 12 feet, right? So at a certain point, I was supposed to open the curtain. And the curtain was, like you're pulling ropes or whatever. And what was happening was this other guy was going to roll that gondola out, okay, like on whatever he was turning. A wheel like this. He's going to turn this, and this thing has got like 3 or 4 actors on it, and it's a big gondola thing, right? And it requires a lot of strength. They were thinking of putting 2 guys on that, but this guy said, no, I can do it. So he was going to, roll that thing out. So he was headphones into the stage director. So the stage director would tell him, okay, roll that thing out, on the headphones, and then he would start rolling it out. But I had to be watching him to open those curtains at the right time. And I did not like this guy, and he didn't like me. Okay? So when we were back there together, it was a kind of icy, ugly thing. And remember, I was looking for a job elsewhere every day because these were long hours at this stage, and the pay was so low. It was like $5 and change per hour. I didn't make enough money to pay my rent and food and everything else. And I lived in a cheap apartment with my wife, and we didn't make enough money from this job to support ourselves. And there were long hours and they were odd hours, right? Plays go on like at night, right? And then after the play, I'd be cleaning up and everything. I had to vacuum the entire backstage. There are all kinds of weird associations with that, since a vacuum played a very important part in the tragedy of me being declared crazy. I was accused of throwing a vacuum cleaner at this Hispanic maid in my parents' house that I never did. I never did such a thing, but I was accused, and people believed that accusation. It was catastrophic for me that they believed that. So now I have this job at this stage, and I'm in the stage crew, unbelievably, right? And when the play's all over and I've done everything I'm supposed to do to, start cleaning up from the play, the last thing I do is to vacuum the entire backstage area. Okay, it's dark down there, right? We're down like below the stage or on the stage level. The stage is kind of raised up. We're on the stage level, but it's dark, and we're in like an alley that circles the entire stage, and it's quite extensive. And I would have to vacuum that entire circle there, which I did scrupulously every night after the play. That was the last thing I did. Now that's a tangent, so let me get back to what I was saying. I was saying that My job at this one point of the play was to open the curtain, and there was this dude who I did not like and did not like me, okay? And so on this one particular night, I missed that he started to, I don't know, I was daydreaming, whatever, bored, right? Remember, I was saying I was looking for a job elsewhere because I couldn't support myself with this one. It's late at night. We're going through the play again, and I'm enjoying the play. No, down there in the bowels, there you don't really see what's going on. But there were some kind of emotional moments back there. But let me go on, and he starts to roll that thing out. Well, I was like daydreaming, and I missed that he was starting to roll it out. So guess what happened? Oh my God. I guess I was on headphones too, because now I remember talking to the stage director after this happened. What happened was this. He starts rolling that gondola out, and since the curtains weren't open, the whole damn thing tipped over. This isn't funny. The damn thing tipped over. So that means all those people in the audience who paid to see that play at this premier theater, they're seeing this piece of stage prop, this big boat capsize, if you will, in front of them. So suddenly the stage director is on the headset to me saying something like, "What in the hell are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I said, "Oh God, I don't know. I missed the cue. I'm so sorry that happened." Well, I was not fired. And I think the reason I wasn't fired was they couldn't get anybody else to do that. They simply couldn't, so they forgave me. I didn't make any other mistakes, but I got to say that was a major mistake that I made. But anyway, when I did get hired finally at this place that I worked to retirement, I left that play while it was still being produced on stage, which means they had to get somebody in there to do my job. And that wasn't easy for them, right? They had to get somebody in there. It was kind of complicated to be on the stage crew. You gotta know something about drama, and you gotta be paying attention to do the things you gotta do, even if it's just to clash the cymbals at a certain time. When you're back there, you got to be listening to what's said on the stage so that you clash them at the right time and you clash them loud enough. People think this is simple stuff, but it isn't. Because there's long hours and long waits in between what you're doing. It's a demanding type job. So here's my confession of the gigantic mistake I made. Now, I did some really good things there as well. I've said that after the matchmaker, one of the actresses said to me one night, at the conclusion there of our run of that play, she said to me, she said, I don't know if she called me AJ or Albert, but she said, AJ, I have never worked with a person in a stage crew who had better dramatic timing than you. I just wanted to tell you that. Bye for now.